Hello, Professor Payne. This is my reflection speech for the end of the semester. So, as far as question one, this has been an unforeseen and unpredictable time to be a student. How do you feel? I'd say I feel like the quality of education would be better if there was not any periods of time where we were told not to come to campus for in-person classes. That being said, I do feel good. I could have used my time a lot better and given more effort in my classes. I know that. The past 2 semesters before this one was harder for me because it was all online, and I have learned that I really don't do well left to my own devices. I enjoy connecting with professors, students, and faculty. In the future, I plan on understanding that large portions of my curriculum will be online and that I need to accept this and put myself in an appropriate environment to be productive. I also know that the amount of effort and time I put into college needs to be increased substantially. Question 2. How do you cope with fear and uncertainty as it relates to your family and your social, economic, and academic needs? Well, I've learned that through connection and conversation with others, I cope by discussing the climate of my hardships and think through it while I'm conversing with my peers and colleagues. I also have learned to cope with my feelings by embracing the situation and accept that it may be hard, but that is my life. And in order for me to have what I want, I'll need to adapt to the situation and put my best foot forward. I would say that I cope just like anybody else does. Just try to accept it and do what I can to get back into line and keep my life going and put my best foot forward. Question 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, how challenging do you find online learning? What's going well? Well, on a scale from 1 to 10, I find I'm learning a solid 8. I'm a much better student when I'm around others grinding, I feel. I like to feed off that energy. That being said, I do understand that work needs to get done, and I have surprised myself by the productivity I've achieved by the amount of time that I put in. I do have learning differences, and I know it takes me more time than other students. What are some challenges? What resources would make a difference? Some challenges are that I'm not in the environment to express my questions or misunderstanding of the curriculum. Often, for me, discussing my questions allows me to think through the problem, which in return is a step for problem solving. Some resources would be me doing more tutoring, possibly in a one-on-one environment or through Zoom or some way where I can really ask questions and it not just go by in fast pace and I miss certain areas. And question 4, who do you talk to, communicate with about how you feel? I honestly do not have enough people to talk to about my feelings, and I'm wanting to gain more friendships where this is accepted, but I often talk to my therapist about my feelings. We meet about once a month on Tuesdays. Question 5, are you taking spring 2022 classes? What will change about your preparation for spring classes? Do you feel comfortable taking the second part of class, such as English, foreign language, science and technology, classes that may have been interrupted? Yes, I am taking spring classes. I have been worried that I'm not well prepared for higher level courses because I may not have the fundamentals mastered yet. This is a concern for me, and I know I have some gaps that I will need to fill in. I plan on focusing and figuring out my questions. My economics course was not adequate this past semester. I learned very little, but I made it through. This is due to my professor who was not adequate communicator. She spoke with heavy ebonics, and let me assure you that I am accepting of all cultures, and I do think there is a time to speak the way she would, I do think there's a time to speak casually like she would. But in an academic setting, it was very discouraging that she could not pronounce most of the curriculum. I find her communication skill inadequate for an El Centro professor. She also ended up quitting in the middle of the semester, and we did not meet in class for several weeks. And then we were given a professor who had no idea what was going on and gave us exams that was off the syllabus and over curriculum we had not seen before. That class was a shame that it went so poorly. I do think the fact that the teacher was missing halfway through really hindered our ability to understand macroeconomics. That being said, we did what we could and we made it through. And question 6, what do you think El Centro College in general and Dallas College in particular is doing well? In what ways can we improve? Well, I believe the El Centro location is great. I said in my outline, location, location, location. I love the location of El Centro, and I believe that there could be more staff there on the top of their game and know how to teach young minds. In the past 2 years at El Centro, I can count on one hand the great faculty that I have encountered. And I will say Professor Payne being high on that list. Honestly, I am pleasantly surprised when I encounter a teacher or faculty at El Centro who is helpful and appears that they know what they are doing, and it looks like they have done their job before. It makes those few professionals really stand out. And a concluding statement, I would say that I have a lot of work to do, and I know I need to step up my game as a student. I really appreciate you, Mr. Payne, and your professionalism. The quality of education you've provided for the students has been above and beyond what I expected. You're a very real inspiration and someone I can model myself after. And I want to say thank you for taking us so seriously and doing all that you do. You're a real inspiration. That being said, I appreciate you being my teacher, and I hope I see you soon. I hope I can take another one of your courses. I really am trying to find a gap in my courses where I can take your interpersonal communication class. I think that would be really interesting. So thank you, and hope you do well. Thanks. Have a good one.